Hello everyone, welcome to another Stranded Alien Dawn video. In this video I'm going to explain starting your characters, which ones are better, and the absolute most perfect location that I have been able to find so far after playing many of them. So, the location that I'm looking at going to will be Laura, named after the character that is in the game. The L is in lowercase. There is no hyphen in between it. It's just her name. It brings me to a pretty amazing location that has almost everything near it, except for a few things that aren't really necessary. One of the biggest things that is required at the beginning is cotton, and it is not too far away. So we will move forward here, and then we will look into our characters and why I feel certain characters might be best to play. So first off, we're going to delete every character here. Now, as far as all of these characters are concerned, some people I see online have preferences, and one of them seems to be Ken. Um, I'm going to stand firm on the fact that I just do not like Ken. I think he's not the greatest character to pick, not for beginning game or late game. My reasons why are because Ken is very, very difficult. He's very hard to keep happy at most times. So unless he's out murdering things on a second by second basis, he gets extremely unhappy. Even when his happiness had got down and I sent him out hunting, it gave me just a fraction of what he was able to lose. Um, when he melts down, he destroys things, he hurts the other survivors. Not my cup of tea when it comes to a character. I see so many people using him. They have difficulties at times, and I mean, hey, if you can make Ken work, by all means. Didn't find his 7 skill in combat to be all that effective at times. The way the game is in early development, I've had people with a 0 hit more people and not miss. So his physical is not great. You could find other people with a better physical. It's his mood and the fact that he is going to disrupt things. Now, I do hear people say with Ken, oh, he's you gotta have him because he gets double the scrap. Well, my thing is stop building things out of scrap. Therefore, you won't need so much scrap. You won't be wasting your scrap. Your scrap should be used for things like traps or for your alloys. And you don't really need a lot. In a lot of these boards, there is a ton of crafts around, and the one that I have chosen as Laura, as your starting seed, has a bunch of them right around where you land. There's no shortage of scrap. You don't need a ton of it. You don't even need to worry about even double humping the scrap over at the beginning. You can survive without that. So Ken is a non-starter for me as far as a character is concerned. Grayson, he's another non-starter for me. He does do fast work with wood. He gets overworked very quickly. He will break down quite a lot. And his movement speed is decreased by 25%, which means that even if he's building stuff out of wood, he will take literally forever to walk around to do it. So again, he is one that other people have used at the beginning, and I refuse to use him. Um, Jack is another one that I've seen people use, and his combat. You see, you're looking at the stats of the numbers, and sometimes these numbers they don't really mean that much, and they can increase over time. So the biggest things that I'm looking for are their traits. They make the biggest difference in your game, especially playing on hard or when you play with no skills, where they're all at 0. The traits are the ones you're actually looking for. A lot of these characters have extremely bad traits. They're very hard to deal with. Vivian is one that I see people choose because of her fast crafting speed, but that is only with fabrics and leathers. As you start to progress, you won't be wearing those clothing any longer, one way or the other, whether it's to create synthetic leather or synthetic armor, which is stronger than the leather armor, or carbon armor, which is what you're really aiming for. And carbon armor can last for 3 years easy before you even need to replace it. Maybe four, maybe more. I generally replace it at halfway through. I disassemble the armor and I recraft all new armor quite quickly, because by the time things move up and your people are on crafting, they will gain skill. And when it comes to gaining skill, Carter is a good start. He builds skills extremely fast. So anything you put him on, by the end of year one, he could be close to 10 on it from a one or a two. If you keep him on specific things constantly, he will gain extremely fast, which is very helpful because especially if you start on hard and with modifiers, then he will build up very quickly and will be proficient in anything you do. So spread him around and get him to do different things so that he goes up very quickly. Connor is a non-starter for me. He causes way too many problems. He's dumb as a post, and he doesn't live up to his trait of firing fast enough. It makes no real difference. Problem is he hurts the happiness of the other people, which is really a real big problem. Um, Now, some of these other characters, I don't even bother with. I mean, when I see things like movement speed is decreased, I stay clear away from it. I don't care what other traits they have. So I will tell you that the time it takes for your characters to move from location to location is key. Um, and I will be explaining that in another video as far as how to build your base properly and to understand the size of the base you should be building, because movement becomes a real problem in this game the larger your stuff becomes. Now, as far as the characters I pick, number one will be Krista. She cannot craft, but that is not an issue for me because of why I'm going to be using her. Her movement speed is decreased, so normally I stay away from them. But her movement has no bearing on what I'm using her for, which is for her research. Now, other people can say, well, I can use this other character and they do so great at research. Well, they're not Krista. Krista's intelligence is 7, which is pretty much the highest, except for I believe one other person might have that number. Um, the thing is Krista's bonus comes in her insight. I have had a lot of insights done by her, and to give you an example of how she works with her insights is that she started on a project, on a research project from 0, had an insight, and it jumped automatically to 51%. And this was on a 3-day project. So, very helpful to kick your research into high gear early in the game, which is a must when you're playing on higher levels, because then you want as many as the perks as you can get as early as you can, because, well, that's your advancement. The other character I do choose is Emmeline, and Emmeline's stats aren't great. The only thing I'm ever really using her for is for cooking. And there's a huge reason for that, because when Emmeline cooks, it doesn't matter what it is, they become exquisite meals. So therefore, you don't have to worry too soon about making greater meals for better benefits. You will get amazing benefits from Emmeline's cooking. I have also seen people who have chosen Emmeline and had someone else doing the cooking. That makes zero sense to me, considering that you're not using the bonus of her exquisite cooking, which is every meal that she makes gives a boost no matter how garbage the food is. Okay, so her other big bonus on her trait is she has a permanently increased happiness, which is humongous, especially at the beginning when you're working your people very hard. Um, they go into meltdown a little bit less. My next big person to have would be Quinn, and I'll explain why I picked Quinn. Quinn loves going on expeditions and they take less time. And believe me, I have sent other people on expeditions and they have taken literally forever. They're gone for way too long. Quinn is there and back on most average missions before you even know that he even left. And his other good trait to have, also again at the beginning of the game, is that he has a permanently increased happiness. So, those two big reasons are why I pick Quinn over other people. And the reason for that, and I will explain that also in other videos when it comes to research and stuff, he is key for your breakthroughs. So breakthroughs are big because they give you things like carbon wind turbines. If they didn't come up as a random one, they give you so many of the breakthroughs you're looking for. Extra battery holding, carbon, anything, right? So your carbon armor, this is where you get it from. You send him on missions, and you look for things like anything military, because then you're going to find a whole lot of stuff. And these are RNG, so the more missions that your character goes on for the expeditions means better chances of finding those good breakthroughs. Um, and believe me, some of them are extremely helpful, and if you can get them at early game, they will be the beginning and the end of everything for anything you're facing. So, now, as far as filling in my fourth character, well, this is a bit of a toss up. One is I do like Nova. She is not very good in her intellect, but her combat is decent enough. Her physical is good, her healing is good. Um, she cannot experience meltdowns, which is the main reason to have someone like her. I don't care if she does research because, as you remember, I have Krista on that. She is never going to leave that research table. All she's going to do for the beginning of this game is to research because it's going to happen so fast. You will have all of your things done before you even realize, like, I'm playing this game. I've got all this research. What can I do with it? And I will explain that to you in another video as to why the research is good and what you can build very fast. So Nova is again another pick for a fourth person. As I said to you before, Carter as well, because Carter learns extremely fast. Don't worry about the trait that says he needs twice as much time or things to relax. He seems to be, as far as things are in this early development, not too hard to maintain. Um, as long as you got a couple things, a dartboard, a kicking post, or whatever, chair to sit in, that's sufficient enough for him. And even at start of the game, when you don't have anything, he will still melt down pretty much like anyone else. Uh, but his bonus is again learning skills twice as fast. You throw him on construction at a 3, and I'll tell you, by the time you hit year 2, he's already at 8. It's fast. So then he's able to construct and build things or craft. So it doesn't matter what you put him on. He's a jack of all trades, and he learns quickly. Um, Now, my next character for a fourth would be the namesake of the place we are going to, which is Laura. Laura seeds and plants twice as fast, and that is humongous when you want to farm. And farming is a big part of this because this is how you support yourself. And she gets that done extremely fast. She harvests very quickly, and depending on the size of the farms you have, that's humongous. The other big thing with Laura is she has 25% movement speed. Now, what I use Laura for is in later game, um, for carbon, when I have to go to far off places for mining it. She gets to these locations and back 25% faster than anyone else in my group. So anything I need for speed, or where I want to send anyone, she's extremely fast. As far as the rest of these people are concerned, um, not really big on it. Um, I mean, we can go through them. You can figure it out for yourself. I mean, the majority of this by now, most people understand who these people are. Um, and if you don't, I mean, I can explain that what is big are the traits, and you have to tailor them to your game. So to go into great detail of the rest of these characters, um, I mean, that's for someone to figure out, because I'm just trying to give you an idea of the traits and which ones I would definitely stay away from because of why. You can still pick them as well. Um, but what we're looking for here is a good start team, and I will be showing you why who I pick is a good start team. So for this one right now, I guess we'll just pick Laura as well. Um, just because we're landing there, and what we're going to do is I'm going to show you what her planet seems to look like and why I think this is one of the best starting positions in this game. So let's move on here. All right, we're going to crash, skip the crash. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to show you, so I'm going to pause the game here and explain to you why I feel that this place is so good and why these people play such a role. So to start off right now, we have our crash landing here. We have tons of fertile land all around us. Because again, I do see a lot of people who choose their locations because it has massive open areas. Well, you should never need to build a base that requires the size of this. You do not want this much open space, because that means that everything you're building within it, everything is too far away from wherever you're trying to build. As you see, I land here, there are a ton of trees, there's a ton of bushes. I have hay over here, I have blueberries here, I have skin bark here. I have silicone, which I will explain in my farming video why that is so important. I have a ton of rocks here. I have starting food supplies, so I have tons of melons right next to it. I have the smoke leaf plants for the pipes. I have tons of different types of trees. And as you see, I have tons of scavenge places to go to. There is a whole bunch all around right where I'm at. The one thing, oh, sorry, let me also say that what I have is your other main starter, which is the grain cob. I do not have the other version, but you can get that from missions with Quinn. So the only other main thing I need for a really good start here is the cotton, which I will show you that is not far. And here is your cotton. So they can make it here and research this cotton, and you've got quite a lot of things. Now you got your other types of things as well as your mushrooms. So these are glitter caps, and I will explain to you in farming why these are absolutely necessary. These are mushrooms. The two plant mushrooms are for your syrups, so it saves you having to make the syrup yourself, which requires grain and a distiller. So then you'll be able to make, again with Emmeline, even better meals, which give greater happiness to all of your people. These glitter caps are all over the place. I have tons of them around here. This is by far, I've looked at the ones online. I have more silicone here. I also have nests that aren't too far away for when you do start attacking them for the carbon. They generally are not too far away right away. Um, I do get a healthy supply of other animals for meat as well that come into this area. And I will show you to how to build a base. You might say, well, there's no room to build. Well, you will be destroying these trees just to get your initial wood. This opens up a lot of farmland. I don't need these melons, so once I harvest them for food for Emmeline to make, this area is clear as well, and this is great farmland up here. This is anywhere from 80 to 100% farmland. You might be saying, well, hey, I build huge farms or I'm going to need a lot of things. Well, in my farming video, I will tell you, you do not. You can gain on some of these with very fertile land with small plots quite a lot of stuff. And remember, you only have 4 people. So stop trying to farm for 100. You can always expand and you can always change. I can show you, and I will in a video, of how to build a massive base, which is just a small base to me, but very protective, very secured, and I can fit it within this area here. Um, and that will hold, well, as far as I am up to now, 7 people. I still can't get an 8th, but it will hold 8, no problem. You can use this area. You don't need to plant berry bushes. These come back every year. For some reason, some of these other ones don't, even though I don't cut them. I do not know if this is an early access glitch or if this is intentional, because if I don't cut them, they should regrow, and some do not. So keep that in mind, that the skin bark here, it will not come back for some reason, and the silicone will not come back, the mushrooms will not come back. Sorry, these mushrooms may come back. They do once in a while. So I don't believe that this is intentional, because my berries always come back. These bushes never change. So I'm not quite sure whether these are just one-time growth, and unless you have a farm, either way, keep that in mind that they won't go back. But once you observe them and they're very close, you can plant whatever you feel you need to. And I will explain in my farming video as to all the good crops to plant right off the hop in the beginning, and roughly about how much you will need for 4 people to get started. But other than that, I mean, this is a good start. You have a decent group of people. I'm not worried too much about who can do a major thing. Quinn can construct, all these people can construct, so I'm not worried about it. They can all work together. I will be explaining in another video, because I think it's going to take an entire video to explain the activities and the scheduling, but these are extremely important for starting off with your people right off the hop. So yeah, I mean, this is a great place. I don't know where people have actually landed before, but finding this place was a huge difference. I have so many resources around that I don't usually run out of pretty much anything. And in my base building video, I will explain to you how you do manage your resources so that, 1, you don't require too many, and 2, you shouldn't ever run out of any one thing. Scrap is not an issue, as you see, and what happens in this game is they keep dropping more all around randomly, so I will still end up with the same amount of scrap continuously for years and years and years. So, you know, for requiring somebody with Quinn's attitude, Ken's attitude, just for the extra scrap, is just not worth it for me. I need people that are going to get along. These people have to survive. Out of my 4, the only one that may experience more frequent meltdowns might be Krista, but as I explained, her research ability is key for a good, fast start, which I'll explain in another video. So please, like the video, subscribe if you can, and I really do hope you enjoyed this, and I look forward to bringing you more videos. Thank you.